Yo, what's good, guys? Gavin from here, back with part 2 of What If Luffy Became a Marine. So, I am feeling a lot better today. I am not being as... I don't feel like I'm dying as much, but anyways. So yeah, I'll be a little bit more loud and have more energy. If I stop, it's because I'm eating, hot Cheetos, so yeah. Um, and I know I have a pen. It's random, and I just satisfaction. Anyways, I need something in my hand at all times. So yeah. Anyways, I'm pretty sure we left off right after Luffy beat Crocodile. Um, I'm gonna say after everything settled down and they turned Crocodile and yada yada. I think that Luffy would skip a lot of ranks and go straight to Vice Admiral, sorry. So yeah, and that would honestly move pretty fast throughout the Grand Line, especially Paradise. Because, well, um, a new Vice Captain is pretty huge. So yeah. Uh, After that, we're gonna skip straight to Skypiea. But while they're traveling, Luffy would help everyone out with their hockey, and so that's a plus. They're getting a lot stronger. I would say they're at almost at their. Where should I put them? I will put them at like um hmm, Luffy, let's just go with I'm gonna put them at their Saba Odiarch selves, but with hockey, so a little bit stronger than what they would be. Um, so yeah, but before, but yeah, so in last time I made a no after time skip. This time I want to do something special with Enel, because there could be two things that happen with Enel or Eneru, whatever you want to call him. I call him Enel because it's easier. So number one thing is that Eneru could just be taken in by Luffy, and even though he doesn't have a bounty, he'd be like, "We need to put this guy in Impel down, level 6," or Luffy can somehow, by some random way, convince Enel to be part of his crew. Or, actually, there's another way this can go, which I think I might be going with this time, is Luffy kills Enel, and the Gorogoro no Mi ends up on the ship, where because I just want to skip through all the random shit that's happened and just go straight to Enel versus Luffy, because even though Sanji and Zoro are stronger in this one, and Enel is overrated, but still, Enel is very fucking strong. So yeah, and his fruit is almost invincible. Like, there's only a few fruits that are on its level, even though it's not. Even though post time skip people can easily dodge light attacks, which is true. Try me, fight me, okay? Anyways, but yeah, so yeah, Luffy would kill Enel in this one, and he would have the voice of all things, which I'm pretty sure is, yeah, is like, because Roger was able to use it to understand the poneglyphs, so I'm just gonna say that happens. Nico Robin would honestly either be captured or just be running away at this point. So yeah, no Robin to read the poneglyph. But yeah, since Luffy has the voice of all things, yeah. Anyways, so they would get back to their ship. Luffy would, go back to the, go to the back, but before he goes, to, like, his quarters, he'll see out of the glimpse of his eye a fruit, on Nami's tree, which would be the Goro no Mi. And Luffy would have a book on the devil fruits, and I'm pretty sure the Goro no Mi would be in that book. So Luffy would grab it really quick without Nami noticing, because Nami would still be, like, chilling out, and then everyone else would just, Sanji would still be a little fucked up, and then Zoro would be. Sadly, there's no Chopper here, but you know what? Let's just give them Chopper because I want them to have Chopper. Because Chopper is very important. Let's just say they stop there and they defeat Wabo or whatever that idiot's name was, and convince Chopper to join the crew. And so yeah, Chopper would be healing them up, and then yeah, so Luffy would go into his quarters, grab his book, and be looking at be scrolling through the pages, and he would finally go to the Goro no Mi, and then he would be like, "This is a good fruit to eat, but I don't want to do it without permission from headquarters." So he would call Garp, and Garp, Garp has all the authority he needs to say yes, but just in case, he would talk to Sengoku, and Sengoku would say yes, because all the admirals have their fruits, so it's not like they were going to give it to the admirals. So yeah, and plus Luffy's probably going to be the next admiral. Okay, anyways. But yeah, so Luffy would take a bite. It'd be gross. I'm sorry, it's getting caught on the back of my throat. A little bit of soda would do the trick. But yeah. So yeah. Luffy would eat it. He'd be disgusted, but he's eaten worse, so. And then he'd be like, and then he would go talk to his crew about what just happened. They would be a little bit like, "Why did you eat it? Just without asking?" And he would just be like, "It's not up to you guys, so. Plus, I'm the only one who'd be allowed to eat it." Because I'm pretty sure, like, captains and above are allowed to eat fruits, I believe, only. Because I don't think we see a lower ranked Marine than Smoker eat a fruit. So, yeah. So yeah, Luffy would now be training with his devil fruit. I'm pretty sure the next arc is, I forgot the next arc. Hold on one second. Get out my trusty tablet. Go to Netflix. I haven't watched One Piece in like 10 years. No, joking. No. Oh, I might have to do a Vinland Saga what if soon. Because yeah. Anyways, One Piece. So after Skypiea would be um the Navy Fortress, which basically everything happens the same. Every fight that Luffy is in, he just completely destroys. The Foxy Pirates, Luffy wouldn't even bother, would not even bother with. Which, by the way, with the Marine Fortress, honestly, he wouldn't really get in any fights. But, yeah. Then again, I haven't watched that arc in forever, so yeah. I don't really remember all that happens. I think there are some pirates in there and stuff, but yeah. Um, and if there's toxic marines, then yeah. And then the Foxy pirate crew, Luffy would just destroy their ship. Just destroy. So yeah, that's not a problem. Water 7. So they would still meet Blue Gem. Not is that his name? Whatever his name was. I forgot his name. But yeah. They would of course meet Kaku. They would compare to Usopp, but yeah. So yeah. And then honestly, when it comes to, because I think that Luffy would know like a little bit about the CP9, but not too much, so he doesn't know the members. And then when it comes to the Frankie family, any trouble they cause, Luffy would just capture them. There'd be no issues in this arc at all, even in Annie's lobby, because that's where friggin' Robin was captured. So yeah, that doesn't really do shit. But yeah, and then, freaking, yeah. So let's talk a little bit about because I'm pretty sure, Ace and Blackbeard, oh yeah, Goodbye Mary would still happen, so yeah. But yeah, anyways, so let's talk about Ace versus Blackbeard. Ace would honestly have the complete upper hand in this version. Like, so I'm gonna say that Blackbeard, like, Ace went off guard, and then Blackbeard would just freaking, I don't know, maybe stab him in the stomach so that he's weakened enough so that he can, like, capture him in sea stone. I'm gonna say that Blackbeard has sea stone stuff cuffs. So yeah, Ace is basically completely weakened at this point. Of course, he's still strong, but at this point he would be weaker than Blackbeard, so Blackbeard will just knock him out. So yeah, that's how I'm gonna make Marineford happen. But Marineford is not gonna happen the same, especially with a stronger Luffy, with a stronger Devil Fruit, with Hockey. Yeah, no, it's not gonna go the same. Even though Luffy is not a pirate. Mm-hmm. Okay, had to make sure it went down good. Um, but yeah, Luffy, like, so let's skip to that whole shebang. The whole thing with Sabaody basically goes like freaking the same because Rayleigh would still stop and yada yada. But Kuma would not send. Honestly, I don't think that they would even be there. Straw Hat Pirates. So yeah, there might not even be a Buster Call. But but if there was, then yeah. Let's just skip straight to Marineford and well, Luffy would be sitting next to Garp, talking to Ace. And after a while, Luffy seeing everyone dying and seeing what everyone's doing to help Ace, and remembering his past with Ace, and seeing Garp's face, which is basically completely like broken at this point, and then seeing fucking Ace basically crippled, and not really crippled, but beaten down pretty hard, chained up with 2 blades at his neck, basically ready to execute him. Luffy would just freaking release his Conqueror's Haki and knock out almost all the Marines around him except for the upper tiers, which means like all the low ranked Marines would be knocked out on the battlefield, and even Smoker would be on his knees, and people like Smoker. And then Luffy would just break Ace's cuffs, and freaking Garp would try and stop him, but Luffy would just send a lightning bolt at Garp, and Garp would be sent flying back. And by the way, when Marco tries and save Ace, Luffy would be forced to attack Marco, so Garp wouldn't even have to step up, because Luffy at this point would be Admiral level, and Luffy would just jump and do the same thing that Garp does, which would be punching him in the fucking jaw. So yeah, and Akainu would be looking up and be like, "Oh my gosh, what the hell?" Actually, I'm pretty sure he would still be there, but whatever. And then Luffy would like break Ace out, and then yeah, so Akainu would still do his whole thing. When it comes, like everything would stay the same until the fight between Ace and Akainu. Ace is not as beaten as in the original, and he's much stronger than in the original. So at this point, he could probably clash evenly with Akainu, but Akainu would still win currently because he's weakened. But Luffy would, Ace would not be the only one fighting Akainu. It would be Luffy helping out because he can actually keep up. So, he wouldn't be like stuck there. So, once he sees that Ace is starting to lose, Luffy would just jump in grab Akainu's fist that was going at Ace, and then punch him in the head, sending him back a little bit and telling Ace, "I will help you in your fight, and then I'll get you out of here." Of course, Ace would still be shocked that Luffy is even helping him because, freaking Luffy is a Marine, and it's his duty to kind of kill him. So yeah, Luffy would be like, "I don't care if I'm a Marine or nothing. And that family is more important." So yeah, and Akainu would be pissed at this point, and he would start to go all out because he was holding back in the original because he couldn't, because he wouldn't destroy Marineford. So he would use it. He would probably start to use his awakening power on Luffy and Ace, but I mean, it's not like it really matters too much. So, yeah, but hold on a second, whatever. Yeah, so Ace would kind of would kind of survive in this one. So yeah, and I'm still gonna have this time skip happen, but a lot of things are gonna be different in this one. But yeah, let's get back to the fight. So Akainu would start to use a little bit of his awakening powers. Luffy would still be able to keep up, especially with his lightning powers. Kizaru would be fighting Marco, and Whitebeard would step in, as well, and yada yada. But yeah, Luffy would, every attack that Akainu throws that is long range, Luffy would just destroy it, with a lightning bolt. And then, Ace would get close to Akainu, punch him in the jaw. Luffy would go above Akainu, punch him in the head, and then shock him. And then, Ace would use a, fire blast, blasting Akainu away. Luffy would get behind Akainu, kick him back to Ace. Ace would punch him in the gut, and then kick him in the face to the other side, and they would basically be playing ping pong with him, because two admiral level people around the same strength, on the level of Akainu, even though one of them's weakened, they would be able to beat Akainu going all out. So yeah, and Akainu would end up being overwhelmed at this point, and Aokiji would see this, and he would move over to go help Akainu because, like I said, it's his job. Even though he hates Akainu, he's gonna have to help him in this situation, which I'm gonna say that he would take over, he would fight Ace. Actually, he would probably fight Luffy. Yeah, I'm gonna make him fight Luffy. But yeah, at this point, Akainu is just as beaten as Ace is. So yeah, they're having an equal fight. And at this point, I'm gonna say that Ace awakens his, Devil Fruit, which I'm gonna say his awakenings is gonna be blue flames, which are hotter than magma. I'm almost positive about that. Look it up. If I'm wrong, then I'm wrong. I don't care. But in this one, they're gonna be hotter than magma. So yeah, he would start to get the advantage. So yeah, of course, Akainu's not gonna die. He's still gonna live, but he's gonna be pretty beaten up. And then, Luffy would be fighting Aokiji. Aokiji would be shooting ice, freaking lances at Luffy. Luffy would just be destroying them with every punch. And then he would blitz over to Aokiji. Aokiji would block the kick that Luffy sent at him. And then Aokiji would send a fist at Luffy's head. But Luffy would freaking grab his fist and throw him over his shoulder. And then kick him in the face. And then Aokiji would, of course, push him off, get up, and then freaking use an ice sword and slash Luffy in the chest, which he really would not want to do this, but he would be forced to. And then he would try and incapacitate Luffy, and stop him from fighting, because if he stops now, he'll maybe be able to stay as a Marine, which, no matter what he is, don't worry. But he may be part of Sword. I could have him do that, but I don't feel like it. So yeah. Luffy would fight off Aokiji for a while, but after a while he would start to get tired out, and he's not experienced as Aokiji, so yeah. Ace would finally get away from Akainu, and Whitebeard would have his fight with Akainu, but he would freaking one-shot him at this point, because he two-shot him in the original. So, yeah, he would use the same move, his starting move, and that would knock Akainu out. So yeah, after that, it would be like like, of course, Blackbeard would show up with everything that happened, because even though Luffy doesn't break into Impel Down, I'm just gonna say that, you know, fucking Blackbeard survives and shit. So yeah, because I want it to be more interesting. And Jinbei would still be locked up, I think, or maybe Blackbeard freedom. But yeah. Anyways. So, after the entire war, Ace would still be alive. At this point, he is, of course, stronger than Marco. I'm pretty sure I stated that already. So he would be the leader of the Whitebeard Pirates instead. And, of course, Teach still gets the fruit. But Ace would still be able to fight Teach, but at this point, he's too weakened to beat him. Plus Teach got an upgrade, so yeah, at this point he would be weaker than Teach, but at full power he would be equal to Teach, I'm gonna say. And freaking Luffy would end up getting, you know, like, incapacitated and knocked out, and then yeah, so the war finally end when Shanks arrives, because he was still alive. It would be like arrive in this version, because yeah. So of course Shanks would stop the war, take the bodies, yada yada. Well, the body of Whitebeard. Ace would warn him, but at this point, I don't know if Sabo will get his memory back. Maybe seeing a like showing of a picture of Ace on the Executioner platform, he would remember. Yeah, actually, that's what I'm gonna do. Is I'm gonna say that he remembers by seeing that. But then he would read the entire article and realize that Ace was alive, survived, and so yeah, and he'd realize that that Luffy is a Marine, and he'd be like, that's gonna be a pain in the ass, he'd say, and then, yeah, so, Luffy would be talked to by Sengoku and the admirals, on why he did it, and also Garp, and Luffy would explain everything. I think that they would be like, fine, but this is the last chance you get. If you do anything like that again, or betray us in any sort of way, we will kill you. So yeah. um, Luffy would get off with a slap on the wrist. After the 2 years, he would be trained by Garp, of course, and then he would also train the rest of his crew. Or at least he would have Garp train the rest of his crew. Which I'm gonna say that Zoro and them were not there because it was such a big event that they would that like Luffy told them to stay back, because they would probably try and stop him, and he doesn't want to hurt them. So yeah, that would be his reasoning, but his true reasoning. But yeah, anyways, Ace Sabo would get a lot stronger because they realized what they're up against. Ace would finally be Yonko level by the end of the year. And so would Sabo. Luffy would be strong on Yonko as well. He would still be weaker. I think that in this one he'll be weaker than Ace and Sabo because even though he's being trained by Garp, and Ace is basically training alone, of course with his crew. But yeah, actually I could have Ace be trained by Rayleigh. Actually, that's what's gonna happen. Ace is gonna be trained by Rayleigh. But yeah, Ace is gonna be trained by Rayleigh, so that's fun. So yeah, Ace is trained by Rayleigh. Dragon trains Sabo and Garp trains Luffy. So yeah, they're all Yonko level, but I'm gonna say that he's weaker than Ace and Sabo, just because he wouldn't be training as hard. It would honestly focus a lot on his crew. So yeah. I think that the Straw Hats would be stronger than his original by a little bit. So yeah. Luffy would be close to getting a promotion to Admiral. Honestly, he would just need to help a little bit more. And then, so that's where Fishman Island comes in. I'm gonna say instead of being protected by Big Mom, they would be under the rule of the government. So yeah. And then he would and then the world government would tell Luffy that there are corrupt pirate fishermen on the Fishman Islands. So he would go deal with it with his crew. Honestly, I think he would just bring Zoro and Sanji, because Nami and Chopper are not strong and would not be able to beat like the top ones, and plus that only Sanji and Zoro are needed to do this mission in general. Hell, one of the big three is strong. The monster trio could have done it. So yeah, Luffy basically saves the strongest for him, and the corrupt fisherman pirates would easily get dealt with by Sanji and Zoro. And then Luffy would easily just bully the final one. I forgot his name, but the steroid using mother trucker. It just, yeah, he'd be unrecognizable afterwards, and then he would finally be promoted to Admiral. So I'm gonna say that Fujitora is the Admiral, and then Green Bull is like Vice Admiral, instead in this version. And then instead of Akainu winning the duel, it would be a draw. So it would be undisclosed, but I'm gonna say that they make Aokiji the fleet admiral instead of Akainu, because even though the Gorosei was pushing for Akainu, it's like I want Aokiji to be the fleet admiral. I don't think that Akainu would leave the Marines. So actually, I think that Fujitora would be a vice admiral as well. So it would be the three admirals currently in this version would be Luffy at the top, Akainu and Kizaru. So yeah, and Aokiji would be the fleet admiral. I feel like Aokiji would push to train everyone more, but make it so that they're more comfortable training instead of just pushing them to be like going to an uncomfortable spot to do it. So once they generally get stronger and stronger, so over time they would be stronger than Akainu's, and then every once in a while they would be pushed to go beyond their comfortable spots. So yeah, like whatever Aokiji says to push them more, they would. So yeah, Aokiji would make the Marines stronger, and then freaking Akainu would still be pissed off at Aokiji. But Luffy would is at this point Aokiji would be stronger than Akainu throughout the extra year that he would spend training nonstop. Of course, Akainu would be training, but I feel like Aokiji just has more potential than Akainu. So yeah, Luffy is the strongest out of the admirals. Aokiji is of course still weaker than Luffy as well. So yeah, but Akainu hates both Luffy and Aokiji. Like, he despises Luffy. Like, absolutely hates Luffy for everything that he's done. But yeah, I think this is where I'm gonna end it off. Because yeah, it's just I'm starting to get tired now, and I'm starting to get fucked up now. So yeah, I will see y'all another day. Have some fun, and yeah, peace.